Adolf Hitler, a name that echoes through history, synonymous with the horrors of the Second World War and the systematic extermination of millions. His rise to power, his ideology of hate, and the devastating consequences that followed are well documented. Yet, beyond the familiar narrative, lie less explored aspects of his life, offering a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the man behind the infamy. While his public image was meticulously crafted, glimpses into his private life and lesser known activities reveal a complex and often contradictory individual. Hitler's early years were marked by both artistic aspirations and deep seated frustrations. He dreamed of becoming a painter, applying twice to the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, only to be rejected both times. This rejection, a blow to his ego, fueled his resentment towards established institutions. He drifted through Vienna, selling postcards and paintings to survive, a period of poverty and obscurity that profoundly shaped his worldview. He sought solace and purpose in the city's libraries, immersing himself in political pamphlets and racial theories. These readings, often fringe and radical, would later form the insidious foundation of his ideology. The First World War offered Hitler a perceived escape from his aimless existence. He volunteered for the Bavarian army, serving as a dispatch runner. The brutal realities of trench warfare, the constant threat of death, and the camaraderie of his fellow soldiers left an indelible mark on him. In the final months of the war, he was exposed to a mustard gas attack, temporarily blinded and deeply affected by the experience. This trauma, coupled with Germany's defeat, further solidified his burgeoning nationalist sentiments and resentment towards the Treaty of Versailles. Upon returning to Munich, a city in turmoil, he joined the German Workers' Party. This small nationalist group, with its anti-Semitic and anti-communist rhetoric, provided him with the platform he craved to express his burgeoning political ambitions. His skill as an orator, his ability to connect with the anxieties and frustrations of the German people, quickly propelled him to the forefront of the party, which was later renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party. Less known, however, are his meticulous efforts to cultivate his public image. He practiced his speeches and gestures in front of mirrors, honing his delivery, learning to project an aura of strength and conviction. He understood the power of propaganda, employing innovative techniques, including mass rallies, carefully orchestrated spectacles designed to evoke fervor and loyalty. Radio broadcasts and newsreels further amplified his message, disseminating his ideology to a wider audience. He was building a cult of personality, carefully constructing the image of a strong leader who could restore Germany's lost glory. This calculated manipulation of public perception, coupled with the economic and political instability of post-war Germany, laid the groundwork for his ascent to power. While Hitler's public persona projected an image of unwavering strength and decisiveness, private accounts from his inner circle paint a different picture. They reveal a man prone to mood swings, sudden outbursts of anger, and obsessive behaviors. He adhered to a strict vegetarian diet, driven by a combination of health concerns and a peculiar belief in the moral superiority of vegetarianism. He developed a fear of cancer, possibly influenced by his mother's death from the disease, which led him to consult multiple doctors and undergo various unconventional treatments. These personal quirks, while seemingly trivial in the grand scheme of history, offer a glimpse into the psychology of a man who wielded immense power and brought about unimaginable suffering. Hitler's fascination with art and architecture, the very field that had rejected him in his youth, persisted throughout his life. He harbored grandiose visions for Berlin, dreaming of transforming the city into Germania, the world capital of a 1,000-year Reich. He pored over architectural models, meticulously reviewing designs and dictating even the smallest details, revealing a desire to leave a lasting physical legacy alongside his political one. These architectural ambitions, fueled by his megalomania, were ultimately thwarted by the realities of war. The extent of Hitler's control over the Nazi regime and the minutiae of its operations is often underestimated. He involved himself in every aspect of the Third Reich, from military strategy and propaganda campaigns to the design of uniforms and flags. He micromanaged even seemingly insignificant details, believing that his personal touch was essential to the success of the Nazi project. This obsessive need for control, this unwavering belief in his own infallibility, contributed to the dysfunction and brutality of the regime. His relationship with Eva Braun, kept largely hidden from the public eye, also offers a unique perspective on his private life. Their relationship, shrouded in secrecy for years, eventually culminated in their marriage just hours before their joint suicide. This act, a final dramatic gesture in the face of defeat, adds another layer of complexity to the already enigmatic figure of Adolf Hitler. The final days of Hitler's life, spent in the Führerbunker beneath the ruins of Berlin, were a stark contrast to the pomp and power of his earlier years. Surrounded by a dwindling circle of loyalists, he refused to acknowledge the inevitable defeat of the Third Reich, clinging to delusional hopes of a miraculous turnaround. The atmosphere in the bunker was reportedly tense and oppressive, a reflection of the desperation and despair of the regime's final hours. His suicide on April 30th, 1945, a final act of self-destruction, marked the end of one of history's darkest chapters. It left behind a legacy of devastation and a world grappling with the immense consequences of his actions. Understanding the complexities of Hitler, beyond the simplified narratives, remains crucial to comprehending the rise of Nazism and its catastrophic impact on the world. The sheer scale of the devastation wrought by Hitler's regime is difficult to comprehend. Millions perished in the Holocaust, a systematic campaign of genocide targeting Jews, Roma, homosexuals, disabled individuals, and political opponents. The horrors of the concentration camps, places like Auschwitz-Birkenau, Treblinka, and Sobibor, stand as chilling testaments to the barbarity of the Nazi ideology. Beyond the camp, claimed the lives of tens of millions more, soldiers and civilians alike, caught in the crossfire of a global conflict ignited by Hitler's ambition. Yet even amidst the darkness, acts of resistance and resilience emerged. Individuals risked their lives to hide Jews from the Nazis. Underground networks smuggled people out of occupied territories, and resistance movements fought back against the oppressive regime. These acts of courage, often carried out in the face of overwhelming odds, remind us of the enduring human capacity for compassion and defiance, even in the darkest of times. The Nuremberg trials, held after the war, sought to hold the surviving Nazi leaders accountable for their crimes. The trials exposed the inner workings of the regime, the systematic nature of the atrocities committed, and the culpability of those who orchestrated and carried out Hitler's orders. The trials, while imperfect, served as a crucial step towards achieving a measure of justice and establishing a framework for international criminal law. The legacy of Hitler and the Nazi regime continues to shape our world today. The Holocaust serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred and intolerance. It underscores the importance of vigilance against all forms of discrimination and the need to protect the rights of all people. The lessons learned from this dark period in history must never be forgotten. We must continue to study and understand the factors that contributed to the rise of Nazism, the mechanisms of propaganda and manipulation, and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. Beyond the well-trodden narratives of Hitler's rise and fall, there lie countless individual stories, stories of suffering and loss, but also stories of courage and resilience. These stories, often hidden in the shadows of history, deserve to be heard and remembered. They offer a deeper understanding of the human cost of war and genocide, and remind us of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the ongoing struggle for a more just and peaceful world. By exploring these lesser known aspects of Hitler's life and the impact of his regime, we can gain a more nuanced understanding of one of history's most pivotal and tragic periods. This understanding is not merely an academic exercise. It is a vital tool for navigating the complexities of the present and shaping a future free from the horrors of the past.